You are breathtaking. Successful people who got crappy grades in high school or college, what are you doing now and how did, or didn't, your grades affect your success/career? I got really bad grades in both. When I was in my early 30s, I had a big chip on my shoulder about it and started taking college classes at large, one at a time. The motivation I had to do well in them was incredible. After a while of that, I was able to take my new transcripts and use them to get into grad school. No one cared that I had gotten poor grades 10 years earlier. The Asian way. Family business. Fail at Asian way plan A and start Asian way plan B. Teach college and give other people bad grades. It's the circle of mediocrity. As far as the grades go, nobody looked at them after I graduated. Edit. Some people are asking questions. After I got sick of my office job, I got into tutoring, then found a job in a private educational company. Once I've had enough experience, universities were offering me jobs. You don't need a PhD to be a university lecturer. For example, my family law class was taught by a practicing lawyer, not a full-time professor. How did you get to teach college with bad grades? I am currently a scientist and enjoy doing research. I come from a country where emails paralysis is on memorizing rather than learning and applying the said knowledge. I failed a lot during school. Luckily, when it was time to look for universities, sister campus of a well-known university opened where I lived. Their entry requirements were not that bad. I got in and my grades improved massively as I could apply what I learned. Moved countries to do a master's and a PhD, and here I am now. I still curse my original country's style of education. Edit. Thought this would be buried here, but my fellows Indians found me. Yes, I am Indian. I'm Indian and I felt that. Where are you from? Not super extremely rich, but I'm a plumber and I make as much as some of my software engineer friends. As someone who works in the construction law world, one of my favorite jokes: once upon a time a very successful lawyer had a pipe burst in his house, so he called a plumber, who came over, fixed the pipe in 30 minutes, and handed a $500 bill to the lawyer. Outraged, the lawyer said, "I'm a lawyer and even I can't charge these kinds of rates." The plumber responds, "Neither could I when I was a lawyer. I bet you put up with a lot of shit." Edit. Whoa. Reddit. Thanks for the 4K upvotes and that beautiful silver. My husband and I are opposites. We're both intelligent, but I was very motivated to get good grades at school, etc., whereas he was not. We met at university where I once again outperformed him when we graduated. I initially got the better paid, better jobs and was the main earner. Then, he got employed at a world-renowned company in an entry-level job but in a sector he was passionate about. It also turned out, when motivated and interested in the subject matter, he has a genuine talent for innovation. Within 8 years, he worked his way up from a bottom-rung grunt on a temp contract to an associate director, who, when he got headhunted by another company, was given a 40% pay rise as a counteroffer to keep him. Because it was acknowledged how valuable to his company he is. He has the most motivated team in his section of the company. I, on the other hand, lost motivation, got trapped in a role that has de-skilled me, and when I applied for a role, was told my degree is no longer relevant because it's over 10 years old. So, in summary, grades are bullshit and it's more important to find something you enjoy and are good at, in my experience/opinion. My parents never thought I would ever go to college. In fact, growing up, my brother always made honor roll and got really high test scores and got a full ride to college. My test scores were really low, my grades were very middle of the road, and I was offered only $1,500 scholarship. So, not much. After dropping out and working a bunch of dead-end jobs in my 20s, I went back to school and tried again. No one thought I would finish. I ended up finishing 2 degrees in 5 years, and now I work at a 4-year university on professional staff within academic affairs, and I make quite a bit more than some of my peers. Everyone I work with assumes that I made stellar grades in high school. I was a very good pupil, up until 10 then it went from not great to pretty bad to awful to get that guy out of my school. I'm talking grades. I was not particularly well behaved all the time, especially a bit confrontational when I had a feeling of injustice, but several of my teachers were still quite fond of my smartass. I ended up trying many different curriculums, mostly IT stuff, failed every single one of them up until the point I could do nothing more but start to search for a job. At 26, with my biggest diploma being the basic one everybody in my country passed at 17 or 18, and even that one I got at 22, at my third attempt. Then as soon as I started to work, things felt much more real than at school, much more fun and motivating. I started to find solutions to problems people didn't even knew they had, and after years of being the weird kid at school, I suddenly became rather well liked by all. It boosted my confidence, playing with the systems upped my skills, and everything has been great ever since. I have now a very good position as a senior system engineer in a huge international structure. My bosses are very happy with my work, and I'm very happy to have the latitude to set myself most of my agenda. So, bad grades? It did not affect my career at all. Somehow, as a kid, I had that weird feeling that my grades weren't going to be important in the long run, and that's how it unfolded. I'm now rather proud of my accomplishments, especially as being so bad at school left so many people thinking I was dumb, and my apocalyptic grades add a nice backstory when discussing my career, though I always stress, when talking about it with kids, that I have been extremely lucky, and that the probability of such a happy end when you suck that much in school are extremely low. I'm currently experiencing this AVG grades and can't find an internship which I require to graduate. Stressful times could do with some hope lol. I was a very average student through high school, and even more average during university, even repeating a bunch of units as I struggled through, but I got there, and graduated with a degree in chemistry, been a good ride since, successful in instrumental analysis AMD managing laboratories, and now earning well over 6 figures internationally in the oil and gas industry. My grades never mattered, the piece of paper merely served as a key to many doors. I had some serious depression in college that tanked my grades. I managed to end up with a 3.0 GPA, but I failed several courses. In my major, I pretty much had A's or F's. I did well enough and interviewed well enough that I got a job. It has mostly affected me in that I'm worried I won't get into a good graduate school program because of my crappy grades in my major. I haven't applied, but I know I would do well now that my mental health is in order and I know my grades don't show that. I got C's in high school and failed out of college, twice. I then joined the Marine Corps, got out and used my GI Bill to get my bachelor's and master's degree, successfully. I now work in a major corporation doing data analytics and logistics work and make a pretty great salary with tons of potential to make a lot more since my company only promotes from within at the levels I'm at. I'm also in the process of starting my side business that will hopefully go full-time in the next few years with some of my savings from my career. My family lives a very comfortable lifestyle with nice cars and a nice house. Although I did fail out of college twice, I did wind up getting 2 degrees. I just want people to know, since a lot of former Marines always tell me this, even if you aren't book smart or a school person, go get your damn degree. Especially if you have the GI Bill. I hated every second of school, like despised it, but stuck through it. Even if you don't have the GI Bill, student debt isn't as bad as Reddit makes it out. I had some from when I failed out of school, twice. My wife has her master's degree and it more than pays for her student loans. We both worked full time and got our degrees at the same time, with kids. Community colleges are cheap, and state schools aren't bad either. Just work hard. Put in more effort than those around you, and most of the time you'll succeed. Got a GED after flunking out of high school, struggled a few years, went to community college and left with a 2.6 GPA and a general studies associates, went to university and majored in the most generic thing possible, psychology, graduated with a 2.7, basically always doing the minimum. 10 years later and I'm happy, married with 3 kids. Moved us to a new state in an area where it's not at all competitive because I'm lazy. Got a decent stress-free job in quality assurance. Own a home. So basically lazy but smart enough to go through the motions and know myself well enough to end up in a spot where I'm happy even though it was far away from my starting point. I'm a factory worker that owns property and is working on getting a farm going. Considering I don't have any loans out yet, I'd say I'm doing well lol. I'll live with my grandma since I need to get going on phase 2 of my plan, and she's letting me chill until I get my house built in 2021. Everything I own has been obtained through hard work, but none of it can be taken away since it's 100% mine. Please subscribe if you liked the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.